The real estate investing coaching space is unfortunately filled with a ton of fluff, BS information on how to actually find deeply discounted real estate deals, scale, and actually grow your real estate business. Because you have tons of gurus making massive promises on how to grow their real estate business without even implementing the strategies that they're teaching you themselves. And what they really are is getting rich off selling you into some course or some program that they aren't even applying themselves. And after sitting back and plotting for some time, I finally created a guide, no, a thesis. And no, you don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars anymore to get started, because I'm going to actually show you how all you need is a laptop and a phone. And you can do this from anywhere. And so my goal here, number one, I'm gonna show you how to find deeply discounted real estate properties, because that's the number one problem. Number two, I'm gonna show you how to evaluate these properties to make sure that you make a profit. And number three, I'm gonna show you what to do with these properties, whether you want to sell them off and make some fast cash, or what to do if you actually want to keep these deals for yourself. The great thing about what I'm going to show you is that this process works no matter whether you're just getting started in real estate or you're a seasoned real estate investor and you're just sick and tired of not being able to find good real estate deals. What you're most likely going to realize after this training is that you're probably going about your business all wrong. So in this training, I'm going to break down what is the fastest way and what are the most effective ways to get into real estate. And the great thing is that this process is going to meet you no matter where you are in your real estate investing career. So whether you're just getting started, or you've done a couple of deals, or you have a huge portfolio, or you already have an empire and you just want to find more deeply discounted properties. But I promise you, this is really good stuff. And this is the kind of training that I wish someone would have gone through with me when I was first getting started.
I just wanted to share my testimonial with Nati. She has been a great mentor for me. I started with her a few months ago, and since then I've been able to wholesale 2 deals, which each deal has had an assignment fee of, one was $15,000, the other one was $18,000. And then I was also able to buy a sub 2 deal, and she's walked me through every single step of the way, because I was totally lost. I didn't know what I was doing and I was super confused, and she held my hand to every single step of the way.
My name is Natalie Delgado. I'm the founder of Deals with Dignity, and I've been in business for over 7 years as a full-time real estate investor. I live in Miami now, and I've grown my rental portfolio to 54 multifamily doors. I've flipped over 500 properties in the last 7 years, and I've been coaching real estate investors for 2 years now. But really, my main business is my real estate business, and I'm active in real estate. Coaching isn't my main business. This is more of my passion business, and I just love to see how my clients come into my programs and they think, oh, I can't do this and it's going to be so hard, and then they turn their business around, and that part is just very rewarding for me to be part of that and seeing my clients win.
My name is Gladys, and I am here to invite you to the best decision and investment that you will ever make, and that is in yourself. It's straight to the point. It's so informative. Natalie's humble demeanor just helps you along the way. She is there for questions. The team that we have built with our online forum has been amazing. There's so much that we have learned.
In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to find direct to seller leads that are coming in every single day and that are coming in ready and looking for a cash offer and wanting to sell fast. And the great thing is that they come in on autopilot. It's a very simple setup. These are up-to-date methods that are working now and are going to keep working into 2024 and into 2025. And the reason that I can say that my method is better than all the other methods is because I've tried those methods and I just knew that there had to be a better way.
I want to talk with you guys a little bit about my experience with Natalie and how it really changed everything for me. At the time, I've been wanting to get into real estate for a really long time, but just always thought I needed money, always thought I needed capital. Went to an event that she was speaking at and saw her give a presentation on wholesaling, and the biggest thing she talked about was like, you didn't really need any money to get started. Started following her on IG like immediately. We kind of connected right after that. And I was starting out cold calling, but it wasn't working for me. I hated it. I wasn't like what I wanted to do. So she actually helped me get into another form of marketing, which is where I sourced my first deal. And ended up making $22,500 from that deal.
There's 3 types of real estate investors, and you can see which category you fall into. Let me show you guys the real estate investing space in 2024. Follow me. All right, so I want to show you guys. There's 3 types of real estate investors, and you can see which category you fall under. There is the newer investor, which I like to call the newbie investor. Secondly, there's the one-hit wonder. And third, there's the mad model hero. And I'm going to break these down for you. First up, there is the new real estate investor. And this is someone who hasn't done a real estate deal. They're usually lost and confused, typically have a bad mindset around the things that they're doing or even in what direction they want to go into. Most of the times they're still working a 9 to 5 and they're tired of the rat race. They're usually scared in investing in themselves and in their business and, in what they want to get predictability, guidance, but they're just scared to pull the trigger, and that makes sense. Usually these people think that mentors or coaches are a scam, and I don't blame them. You just don't know what you don't know. They usually don't know how to look for real estate deals. Most of the time, they think that buying at full market value is acceptable, and they just don't know that there are ways to find deeply discounted real estate deals. They're usually pretty bad at sales, and they usually are doubting themselves and most likely feel stuck all the time. And then there's the one-hit wonder investor, and I was here for some time. And so the one-hit wonder investor is usually someone that is doing 1 to 4 deals a year, and they usually make an extra $50,000 to $60,000 a year in real estate, and they usually still work a full-time job, usually have a really good job. They're usually tech engineers or nurses or in e-commerce, or they're just people that dibble and dabble in real estate. These people grasp the concept of real estate and probably have done a couple of deals here and there, but they haven't been able to fully understand the process that's needed and the systems that you need to put into play in order to have a scalable business and, to quit your job and get your time back. And so these people know how to look at deals more or less. They know what price they need to buy at and probably have done some kind of marketing, but they aren't very consistent in it. And they've tried many different things. They're the kind that get confused on what really works. And usually these people haven't really been consistent in one thing. They're usually decent at sales, and they usually are a one-woman or one-man show, and they're doing everything on their own. So they're just finding deals, they're talking to sellers or realtors directly, and they're just trying to sell these deals and manage contractors if they're fixing and flipping. And they pretty much take more than 6 months on one deal, and that stops them from getting deals on a repeat basis. As I'm going through this, if you feel identified and I'm really speaking directly to you, let me know which kind of real estate investor you are. Go ahead and DM me at Natty Buys Homes and let me know if you're number 1, number 2, or number 3. The newbie investor, the one-hit wonder investor, or the mad model investor, which we're about to get into. And then number 3, the third type of real estate investor that there is the mad model hero. And that's the type of real estate investor, which is kind of like the desired goal, and it's where everybody wants to be at. They're doing at least 40 deals or more a year. They've scaled the real estate business, and they've delegated most of their tasks in their business. And you're actually a business owner and not a worker. You can actually take time off where you're not consistently working on the admin stuff every day, and you're actually dialed in on tracking your numbers, and you know what your sales performance has to be. You have salespeople working under you, and you know exactly what your KPIs are, what you have to hit every single day, and how much exactly you're spending and how much you expect as far as your return on investment on your marketing. So that's kind of like the real estate investing space. It's just a 50-foot overview in 2024. There's the new real estate investor, and then there's the one-hit wonder investor, and then there's the mad model hero real estate investor. And I'll show you here how I went from being a new investor to being a mad model hero. So it was back in 2016. I was living in West Palm Beach, super tired of my life. I had dibbled and dabbled into real estate, but really I was stuck at making $100,000 a year. And that sounds like a lot of money, but not when you also have expenses that are pretty much close to $100,000. So I'm profiting basically nothing. So this is a picture of me here. I had just moved to Miami. So I would work at night as a bartender, and then during the day, I was a property manager for a big investment firm. Until here, this is actually a picture of me closing on my second 16 units. At that point, it had made 40 units for me, and this was about 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago. In this picture, I was so sick and tired of having to struggle, to having to reach out to realtors for new business, right? I had just heard about what is like wholesaling, how to find deals direct from seller. And what I would actually do is, this was my schedule. Y'all hear me out. My schedule was 9 to 5, I would work. Daylight savings, sometimes I would even get out and it was already nighttime. I would take the pre-foreclosure list and I would go door knock on every single pre-foreclosure property in my afternoons. And then on the weekends, I would bartend events, nightclubs, bottle service, things like that. I had to do all of that just to make meets end. When I tell you that I've been there, I've been there. I've had to do everything. I've had to had a full-time job at night, a full-time job during the day, and then my side hustle, which was real estate at that time. To like now where I get to live this beautiful life that I made by design. Everything that is in my life currently is because I created it that way. I didn't want to go see properties. I didn't want to be stuck in traffic for hours and hours in the Miami traffic. I honestly had no interest in being a realtor, even though I am licensed. It's not my passion, and I knew that. I also wanted to design a life where I could work from my laptop from anywhere in the world. So if I wanted to just get up and go to Mexico or go to Bali, I could do that. And my business will continue to run without me. And I can also run my business from my cell phone, from my laptop. But all of this, my lifestyle is just by design. All right, so I've been able to break down my 3-step evergreen process into what I like to call my 3-step evergreen MAD model. And MAD stands for marketing, acquisitions, and dispositions. When it comes to the marketing, and you should be dialed into your business in exactly this same order. So some people start acquisitions, but then they realize that even though they know how to acquire properties, they have no marketing skills and have no leads to talk to. Or they start looking for ways to fix and flip or wholesale, or dispositions is basically what you do with the property, but then realize you have no leads and you have no deals. So we're going to start from the very beginning, which this is basically the foundation of the business. The first step, marketing. This is where we'll focus on with everything that has to do with getting leads, getting the right leads, getting qualified leads, getting leads that actually want to work with you. Then we'll go on and break down acquisitions, where acquisitions is just a fancy word for sales. Basically conversations, how many conversations you're having and what's the conversion of those conversations. And then dispositions, which is what you do with a property. So some of you might be watching this and say, Natalie, I want to fix and flip. Some of you might say, hey, I want to put my properties on Airbnb. Some of you might be watching this and say, hey, like I have no money to get started, so maybe wholesaling is going to be the best route for me. I'm going to break all that down for you here in this training. The main thing that I want you to take away from this training, especially within marketing, is that real estate wholesalers are the best marketers in the real estate industry. What I preach is to learn how to wholesale real estate, which is AKA learn how to find really good discounted real estate deals, and then go ahead and decide if you want to sell them to other buyers or if you want to keep them for yourself. So I'm going to go into now what is real estate wholesaling and make this make a whole lot more sense for you. Real estate wholesaling is basically finding a property that is in a distressed condition, usually needs a lot of work as far as renovations and everything like that, negotiating it at a cheap price, getting it under contract. And then what you're going to do is actually find a buyer who is looking for those kind of properties so they can fix them and resell them, add to their portfolio, and pay you a fee. And we call that an assignment fee or a finder's fee. And they basically pay you a fee for putting the two together. So let me show you here with my little picture that I made for you guys. This is a property owner, and you have a motivated seller that's wanting to sell their house right now. So they're either in a bad financial situation or they're just looking to sell their house because the property is in bad shape. And then you're going to go in and you are the wholesaler. You don't actually have the money, but you have the hunger to look for deals and you have the motivation to get on the phone and have conversations. It doesn't even take that much money to have those two. You just got to want it. So this is you, the wholesaler. So you're going to go to the property owner and you're going to tell him, hey, Mr. Seller, I want to buy your property for $250,000. And then you get it under contract. Then after that, you're going to turn around and you're going to find this cash buyer. And I'm going to show you how to find these cash buyers as well, because they're not hard to find. They're literally everywhere. Once you start looking, you'll realize there's tons around you. And you're going to tell him, hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, I have a property under contract and I will sell it to you for $260,000. I will assign my rights to you for the gross price of $260,000. So then what you're going to do here is you're going to assign your interest to the property to your cash buyer. And then so here you got $250,000, you got it under contract for $250,000, you sold it for $260,000. That means that you're legally entitled to make the difference in the price, which in this case is $10,000. And my friend, this is without needing the actual money to close on it. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is assign over your rights, which it's a piece of paper that you and the buyer fill out. You give that to the real estate title company, which is the company that does the actual closing for you, and you will get paid on the settlement statement, on the closing statement at the closing table, fair and square. So imagine if you can find these kind of deals where you can make $5,000, $7,000, $20,000, $30,000. I've even made $150,000 on one wholesale deal. For a lot of us, that's either 1 or 2 months or 3 months worth of pay in one deal. And what happens if you close multiple of these deals per month? You get where I'm going. You, the wholesaler, made $10,000 assignment fee without needing any money. The cash buyer will renovate the property and will pay you a premium to help you find him properties. So after you get those $10,000, what do? You go back and find more deals. You start creating relationships with cash buyers, and these cash buyers will be more than happy to pay you your fees. I'm a cash buyer myself, and I'm more than happy to pay wholesalers fees if they find me good deals. But you might be wondering, Natalie, why would someone pay me an assignment fee? Why wouldn't they go out and look for these deals themselves? The reason why is because most people in real estate either have the money or they have the hustle. In this equation, you have the hustle and they have the money. They want to find these deals, but a lot of the times they don't even know how to find these deals. They're looking for deals on the MLS. They're overpaying for properties, but you found a new way to do this to where you're bringing them properties that are off market at a great price. It makes sense for them to buy. It makes sense for them to pay you a fee, and everyone wins. If you want to be a successful real estate investor, the first thing that you're going to want to learn how to do is wholesale real estate. And the reason why is because if you learn how to wholesale real estate, my friend, the rest of your job is just that much easier. There's a saying in real estate that says, most problems in real estate can be solved by buying low enough. Imagine a wholesaler has to go find a property at a low enough price where they can profit and their cash buyer can profit. So if you learn how to wholesale, which is basically finding deals directly to seller at a discount, then once you save up your money and you're ready to start doing your own deals, you already have your lead source. You already have this skill set. So this is why I tell my clients, learn how to wholesale, then get into different aspects of the business, owning multifamily, fixing and flipping, all that other sexy stuff.
Just want to give a huge shout out to Natalie and her 5-week mastery to wholesaling. Has so much value in it. Within 3 weeks, I was able to lock a deal up on the contract.
The reason why I want you to learn how to find deals like a wholesaler would, it's because think about what wholesalers do. They market for properties direct to seller at a deep enough discount to where they can go ahead and assign it over to a buyer like you, and then you can either keep it as a rental or fix and flip it for a profit. So the good thing about learning how to wholesale real estate is that if you learn how to find deals directly to the sellers at a deep discount, you're winning. If there's something that I've learned in real estate is that most problems in real estate can be solved by buying at a low enough price. Let's say you get a property, you're fixing and flipping it, and then you go over budget in your renovation. That could have been fixed at buying at a lower price. Let's say you're fixing a property and the permits are taking longer than you thought they would. That could have been fixed by buying at a low enough price. The first thing that we're going to go through is We're going to get your business up and running. And this is where, like, even if you're just starting in real estate, I'm going to teach you how to find these deeply discounted real estate deals, how to get them under contract at a very desirable price. And from there, I'm going to teach you what to do with those properties, whether you're buying and holding them, fixing them and reselling them for a profit, or even just wholesaling them off to another cash buyer. And the first thing that you need to learn is how to find these deeply discounted deals, how to find them, and then you figure out what to do with them. Because these deals aren't on the market. They're not on MLS. They're not on Zillow. They're not on any of the marketplaces that you're looking in right now. These properties actually sell completely under the radar and they're out there for the taking, guys. So I'm going to teach you how to find those deals. So let's dive deeper. All right, guys, welcome. Welcome to the official Mad Model thesis. I have 3 outcomes for you. And number 1, I'm going to show you how to find deeply discounted real estate deals because that is the number 1 problem. We went over that. After that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what to do with them. Number 2, I'm going to show you how to evaluate these properties to make sure that you make a profit, okay? Because I know what you're thinking and it's like, Natalie, like, even if I find a property, I don't know how to tell if it's a good deal or even what to do with it. So we're going to solve that problem for you here. And my third outcome is I'm going to show you what to do with these properties, whether you want to sell them off to other investors or you want to keep these great deals for yourself. I'm going to show you how to find them, how to evaluate them, and what to do with them, whether you want to sell them or not. So first things first, let's get into the marketing portion, okay? So one of the things that I said earlier today, and I want to make it very, very specific because I want you to know if this just maybe isn't for you. And that's this. I only practice direct to seller marketing. For me personally, in my experience, what I have seen, especially as the market gets more and more competitive, the best way to market is market direct to seller marketing. And this means not going through other realtors. This means not going through other wholesalers when possible, especially if you're going to resell it to someone else. So the first step, you have to choose where it is that you want to work because you can do this virtually or you can do this locally. And this is how you should decide this. If you live in a busy market, there's nothing like your own backyard because if you have an emergency, you can actually run to see the seller if you must, or if you need to do showings, you can actually show up yourself. So that saves you money because you don't have to send anybody else to do your showings. But if you live in a market where you just see people around you, don't really buy property. It's dead. Nobody really has a job. There's just not a lot of stimulation in the market. Maybe there's no Walmart in the area, no Starbucks in the area. There's no Amazon warehouses in the area. Those are kind of indicators that you're living in probably a more slower market. In that case, then you should pick a virtual market that's a little bit busier. Now, to dive deeper into how to find a virtual market, you want to look at markets that aren't really at the peak. So for example, markets such as Los Angeles, New York City, Miami, Florida, but you could go after the markets that are surrounding it. So within like a 2-mile radius where they're benefiting from all the growth in the main cities, but it's not like where everyone wants to buy. We call those secondary markets, and those markets tend to do better and sellers tend to be more motivated. The next thing that you want to work on, my friend, is you want to start networking and putting yourself out there. I recommend Facebook groups. I do so much on Facebook groups. I love them. And you can start looking for your cash buyers there. Let's say that you chose to go after Greensboro, North Carolina. And you're like, all right, this is going to be my market, whether it's local or whether it's your virtual market. The next thing you want to do is start connecting with those buyers in the area. So you're going to go to Facebook groups and you're going to type in real estate investors, Greensboro, real estate wholesalers, Greensboro. See what surrounding cities are around Greensboro, and you can also join those. For example, you can put real estate investors, Winston-Salem, cash buyers, Winston-Salem. So you got to play with those keywords, join those Facebook groups, and start networking. So I made you a template so you can literally copy it and paste it into these Facebook groups. And so it says, hi, my name is blank, Natalie. I'm new to wholesaling and I'm in the blank market. I'm in the Greensboro, North Carolina market. I'm marketing direct to sellers and I'd like to start building relationships with cash buyers so I can assign my first deal. Let's connect. And then the next thing that you're going to do is people are going to start reaching out to you. They're going to start sending you their email so you can put them on your what's called a cash buyers list. But what I recommend you to do is like ask for these people's phone number and ask if you can have a chat with them, because literally these are going to be your cash buyer that you're going to assign your deal to. So you want to start creating those relationships. The good thing as well is once you do this, you can go ahead and know exactly what it is that they're looking for. And so I bind these zip codes and in Greensboro. So now you're creating, we call it a buy box. It's just basically what are their requirements as a cash buyer. So you start creating and you want to make these people your friends. People in real estate are super nice and they're here to help as well. You're going to see that those people are also going to help you a lot in your real estate journey. And the third thing is you want to choose your marketing lead source. And you want to only focus on that, because this is one of the main mistakes I see people do. They will start with 2 and 3 lead sources, and it's just not profitable because, my love, if you don't know how to do one thing, what makes you think that you can do 2 and 3? Pick one lead source and only focus on that. Let's break down what are your lead sources, okay? So number 1 is cold calling, which is basically pulling a list. You can go to the county, pull a tax delinquent list or pre-foreclosure list, pull that list, skip trace the phone numbers, upload them to what's called a cold calling dialer, and call the leads and say, hey, Mr. Seller, do you want to sell your property by any chance? You do that enough times, you'll get some leads. Second is your sphere of influence, such as your friends and family. Maybe your grandmother wants to sell her property, or maybe she has a second property that is just staying there and it's vacant and it's in despair. You can help your grandma sell it and make some money off it. Next is SMS. Very similar to cold calling. You pull a list, but instead of calling it, you're going to SMS it. Then there's direct mail, which is, I'm sure you've seen them. They're like the little yellow postcards that you've probably gotten in the mail, and they say, hey, I want to buy your house. Call me at 123-4567. Then there's Facebook ads, Google ads, which basically you pay Google and Facebook to show your ads to your ideal audience. So you'll make an ad saying, hey, I want to buy your house cash. And then you pay Facebook to put it in front of these distressed sellers. And then the distressed sellers will say, call you and say, hey, listen, I saw your ad on Facebook or I saw your ad on Google. I'm interested in you selling my house. And then there's driving for dollars. So driving for dollars is the cheapest strategy that there is out there. And that's basically getting in your car, going to a neighborhood. You can see it's kind of like an area, an opportunity zone. It's being renovated. You can see that there's probably like a lot of properties that need a lot of work, but you also see a lot of fix and flippers in the area that are remodeling and new families are moving in. So you're going to want to strategically target those neighborhoods, because those are the kind of neighborhoods that fix and flippers like to purchase in. And you're going to pin those addresses. Then you're going to skip trace them. I use PropStream to skip trace. And then you're going to call them. Same thing. This is marketing. So these are some of the marketing sources. A few more that are not listed on here but do come to mind are TikTok ads, which is similar to Facebook and Google ads, radio ads, bandit signs, TV commercials. Out of the most premium, higher priced ones are Google ads and Facebook ads, because they do also convert at a much higher rate. So you have a list here. Remember, only pick one. Let's talk about who is your ideal client. Your ideal client, I always say, the house has to be in distress or the seller has to be in distress. It got to be one or the other. Sometimes you get some outliers where the property is in great condition and the seller just happens to sell cheap for a lower price. But for the most part, either they're selling because they need the money, right? So the seller is distressed, their situation is distressed. Maybe they're going through a foreclosure, a divorce, or the seller's perfectly fine, but they're just willing to sell the house at a discount because the property needs work. So you're ideally looking for a property that is off market and needs renovation. So you can go ahead and assign this over to your buyers, or if you're buying them for yourself, so you can make a good spread on your fix and flip. Okay. So these are the kind of houses that we're looking for. We're looking for houses that show that they need maintenance. You can tell this sidewalk hasn't been pressure clean and God knows how long. This house shows some despair, right? And this is actually a picture of a house that I actually wholesaled. But for example, look at this house. You can't lie to me that this house does not need a work. We have this house. I drove by it. I pinned the address, called the seller, got it under contract, wholesaled it. You can clearly see there's even a hole on the roof. Literally, there's like the sun is shining through the house. So these are the kind of houses that if you're going to be driving for dollars, or even if when people call you and describe their house, you want it to be these ugly houses, because these ugly houses is where the fortunes are made, and where you can justify purchasing these at a discount and assigning them over to a cash buyer for a great fee. Or if you're into fixing and flipping, you can buy these at a great price and then fix them and flip them yourself. Just to kind of show you guys like what this actually looks like, a HUD is the receipt that the buyer and the seller sign off at closing. So as you can see, we got this property under contract for 190. We wholesaled it for 31,500. All in all, we made 31,500 without having to own the property, without needing to fix and flip it. We got literally an assignment fee, a finder's fee, just for being good at what we do. This is another property that we wholesaled for $27,000. You can see here, this is my company name. Here's another property, same thing, assignment fee, deals with dignity, $23,000. All right, so here's an overview of your evergreen MAD model funnel, okay? And as you can see, the further down the funnel you go, you start from warm, and then the leads get hotter, then they get warmer, and then they get hotter. But before I go ahead and I break this down to you, let me go ahead and break down to you the home seller journey pyramid. This is where most people go wrong. As a marketer, we must understand, guys, that most people, when they first inquire about selling their property, and this is for you're a realtor, this is for if you're a wholesaler, this is for even if you're not even in real estate. This is just 101 marketing basics, okay? When people first come in as a lead, 60% of them are not going to even be aware of the problem, which means that they're cold. 20% of them are going to be aware of the problem, but they don't urgency. 17% of them are going to be in the gathering information stage. So they're gathering options, what is out there. And only 3% is going to be ready to sell their house right away. Okay. So now that you have this information, what does this mean for you? This means that if you are trying this and you're not being successful, my friend, the reason why is because you expect every single lead that you get to fit into this 3%. And it just doesn't happen. There's no business out there where every single lead that they get are ready to buy now, or in this case, ready to sell now. So what do you have to do? You have to put in 100% of these leads into your evergreen MAD model funnel and continue to follow up with them. So the evergreen MAD model funnel, another way to look at it, is basically this pyramid turned upside down. They go from cold, warm, warm, hot. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to break down the funnel, but I wanted to share this with you because I think when you're first getting started in real estate, people have this notion and they think that, oh, everybody that comes to me, they have to be ready, or if not, I didn't do a good job, right? That's the first thing you're thinking, oh, I just suck at this. I don't know what I'm doing. Or they're crazy and I don't understand why they're not ready to go. Where in reality, like think about it. When you're going to make a purchase, let's say that you're going to buy a car. First, you're going to start looking for a car online. Then you're going to, filter it down and say, okay, I think I want a Range Rover. And then you're like, I think I want a black Range Rover. And then you start reaching out to a dealership. And then you make it into the dealership. And then you're like, oh, you know what? I don't want a black Range Rover anymore. I want a white Range Rover now. But let's say the dealership doesn't have a white Range Rover. So now you're like, no, I'm sure I want a white Range Rover. And then you walk into the next dealership and they have your white Range Rover and you just happen to be that top 3% that was ready. But the thing was that you had actually gone through this entire pyramid and brought yourself up in these stages to where now you're in this top 3% and you're ready to buy. The same thing happens with homeowners, okay? They go through their ups and downs to where they're like, okay, I want to sell, but I don't need to sell. So it's not a problem. Then they're like, I'm falling behind on my bills. Maybe I should sell. I got a problem, right? I'm falling behind on my bills. Then they start reaching out to people. Hey, realtor, how much can you list my property for? Hey, cash buyer, how much can you purchase my house for? In between this information gathering stage and this ready now stage, it could be years or it could be very fast as well. But that's why through our evergreen MAD model funnel, whether it takes them months, days, or even years, you're going to be keeping up with them. And I promise you, I'm going to break that down. Okay. So keep this in mind, because I wish someone would have actually explained this to me when it came to marketing for sellers, where if you in mind, you won't expect every seller to come in and convert right away, but you will know that as long as you keep up with them through follow-up, you will catch them when they're at this 3% ready now stage. So they're going to start at the 60%. They're not aware of the problem. They're like, maybe I want to sell, don't need to sell. Then they're like, shoot, I'm falling behind on my bills. Maybe I should think of selling. And then they're just shopping around. I'm sure you've spoken to those sellers. They're like, I'm talking to a realtor. I'm talking to this guy. I'm talking to another cash buyer. And then they think about it from this information gathering and ready now stage. Like I said, it could take years, or it can take days, or it could even take months. And then they get into like, okay, I need to sign an offer. And that's where we have to do a good job in being in front of them through follow-up, so they know that we are still willing, ready, and able to buy their property. Okay. So keep in mind that home seller journey pyramid, because we're going to come back to it and I'm going to make this all make sense. Remember, this home seller journey pyramid is actually our evergreen MAD model turned upside down. So now let's go back into our evergreen MAD model. So let's break down this funnel for you. So you got the top of the evergreen MAD model funnel. A lead comes in, they might be interested in selling, a life event happened, they know they're going to have to eventually sell, but they don't have to right now, right? Maybe they're not hurting for the money. So they're considered cold. At this stage, you're going to filter them to see if they're interested or not. Because one thing that I tell all my clients is, if a client's not ready to sell now, we should not be giving them a cash offer. We should continue to create a relationship with them. So when they are ready to sell and they do have a timeline that they want to sell within, then we give them a cash offer. We also qualify them, such as for their motivation. Is this a seller that actually needs the cash? What is their motivation? Why are they looking to sell? So do they have the motivation, or does the property have the motivation? We need to know that. And this is where it's super important. This is your phase one in your marketing. This is where you need to stick to one lead source, clear message, and consistent leads. So you need to do the same thing over and over and over again. That's why from the beginning, I told you, stick to one lead source, get really good at it. Have a clear messaging. And this is where you can try and go ahead and do this all on your own by all means, but it's the messaging that makes all the difference. How are you talking to your sellers? What is the psychology behind the words that you're speaking? Are you even calling them with a script, or are you just babbling out of the mouth? So that's the difference in between bringing someone on that helps you do this versus you just trying to figure it out on your own. So phase one, your leads are cold, but you're filtering them and you're qualifying them. Phase two is speed to lead system. And I'm actually going to break that further down for you. But speed to lead basically means you are going to, as soon as the lead calls, you're going to call them, leave them a voicemail, leave them an SMS until you get them on the phone and you have those conversations. Now, let's say that they don't pick up, then we keep repeating this process until we get them on the phone. So once you become a master at this MAD model funnel, this is the first position that you're going to hire out. The people that are going to work the middle of the funnel, that are going to be consistently calling, leaving voicemails and SMSing for sellers and having those conversations. This is the first position that you'll hire out, and you could usually pay anyone from 10 to 20% commission depending on how good they are. So let's say that you make $20,000, you can give them 10 to 20% of that. So that would be $2,000 to $4,000 for someone to do this process for you. You have to be able to do this on your own, because then you have to be able to teach this person. I personally also have virtual assistants that we pay by the hour that are really good at being on the phone, and they're really hungry. A lot of people just from other countries tend to be a lot more hungry than us Americans here. And I teach them how to work my cold and warm funnel. So once you filter, you qualify these leads, you're going to bring them down to your phase 2, which is your speed to lead system. Speed to lead system, simply put, is you're going to call them, voicemail, and SMS them simultaneously, continuously, until you get them on the phone and you have a conversation. Once you have a conversation with them, you figure out that they do want to sell, they're looking for a cash buyer, they need to sell fast, or the property is in despair, you're going to go ahead and start underwriting the numbers, which is running your comparables and how much your potential profit can be. And then phase 3, which is getting to the bottom of the funnel, is putting them through our world-class conversion system through cash offers and creative financing. So here's where we start giving them offers. At first, when you're first getting started, you'll only do cash offers. But then the better and the better that you get, you'll also learn how to start making creative financing offers. So these type of offers is where you actually can get properties on terms, taking properties subject to the mortgage in place. And this is where even you as a wholesaler, even if you don't have a whole lot of money to get started in real estate, if you can take over somebody's mortgage, or that person can owner finance a property over to you and you don't actually need the cash, then you can start actually owning property faster than you think. So that's our phase 3. Then phase 4 of the funnel is where we go ahead, we get them under contract. We call it our phase 4 bulletproof sales system plus offer. So we get them under contract. They are interested in what we got to say. We agree on a price and we go ahead and we lock them up. We put them under contract. Once you have the property under contract, this is where the magic happens. You got the property under contract. It's such a good deal that maybe when you first start, you're going to have to wholesale it because you don't got the money to close on it. But then as you do more and more of these deals, you start saving your money. You can start fixing and flipping. You can keep this as a rental, right? Or even for some of the creative properties where you can negotiate to take over somebody's mortgage, you don't even need money and you can actually keep these properties and keep them to hold. But it all starts with the evergreen MAD model funnel. All right, so at this point, you're probably asking yourself, great, Natalie, but how can I run my comparables? How do I know how much I should offer for these properties? Okay, and I'm going to give you some shortcuts because I don't want to confuse you, but there are some shortcuts. There's a few shortcuts that you can learn from this training. So how much should you offer? So you should offer ideally below the price that your cash buyer is willing to pay. So if you find a cash buyer that's willing to pay more of a premium, then you can also offer more of a premium. So let's say, for example, you are marketing in Northport, Florida, and you have a cash buyer in that area, and he's already told you that he in that area buys at about $100,000 per property, and he resells them for $200,000 in that area. So he has to buy them at 100 so he can fix it, flip it, and make a profit. That means if you see that cash properties are selling for 100,000 and you want to make, let's say for example, 20,000, then you need to offer 80,000 because you're going to go ahead and sell it for 100. Now, if you're okay with making 10,000, 5,000, then you can offer more. This is really an art more than a science. Okay. So that's one shortcut on how much you should offer on a property. You find your cash buyer, they tell you how much they'd be willing to pay you, and then you're going to offer slightly below that so you can make a spread for yourself. The second way, and the fastest way, so it doesn't take you so long, is you're going to look at how much are properties going for in the area that are fully remodeled. And I'll show you an example. For example, this is a property in Northport, Florida, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, sold for $220,000. There's no pictures in the property, but you can actually tell that there's an old street view here, and you can tell that the property was remodeled. Even just looking at the cover picture, you can tell that the property has been remodeled. It looks like it definitely got a fresh paint job. It looks like a new roof, new windows, new paint. It looks way different than from here. So you see that this property is renovated. Very, very fast way to do it. And this only works if you're working in a busy market where there's tons of sales and the Zillow value tends to be right. As you can see, this market is a very busy one. So you can see that this estimate is $218,000. And you're probably going to say, oh, Natalie, but I don't know if this estimate's right. But look, for example, this property sold for $220,000. So I know in this area, my estimate is actually spot on. What you're going to do from here is offer 50 to 60% of this estimate because we're not going after remodeled houses. We're only going after properties that either the seller has a distress or the property has a distress. So they can justify selling at half off because the property either needs to be sold fast or the property condition is in bad condition. So those are two shortcuts. Look at the Zillow value and offer 50 to 60% of it, or reach out to your cash buyer and ask them how much they would pay, deduct your wholesale fee, and offer that. There's a lot of other ways to comp properties, but this is a very, very fast and easy way to do it, okay? So for me personally, what I mainly do is PPC marketing, and then the leads start coming in. And after that, we start our speed to lead system where we get these sellers on the phone, we give them a cash offer. And if that doesn't work, we follow up with creative offers such as subject to financing, seller financing options, and all of that is included in my program. I show you guys how to do it. It's not like you have to do it on your own. And this is what I help all my clients do. So I help them launch their marketing. After that, once the leads come in, I show them exactly how to effectively have those conversations and turn those conversations into conversions. I help them track their KPIs because there's certain metrics and parameters that I look for to make sure that you're on the right track and just taking those right actions every single day. And it's pretty simple, honestly, guys. It's pretty simple. The process, setting it up is simple. It's pretty fast. It's pretty straightforward. It took me 7 years. It won't take you 7 years because that's why you'd be bringing me on. I would say probably the implementation can be the part that is like a bit hard just because, you know, there's a lot of potholes and obstacles that you're going to go through. And it's like, especially if you're trying to do this on your own, I can see where it can be difficult. If you have someone that's guiding you, that's the benefit of bringing on someone that actually knows what they're doing and bringing them on into your business. So I love all my clients, guys, but the truth is that they're not that special. So the difference between these people that you're seeing and yourself is the 3-step evergreen MAD model. And I personally want to help as many real estate investors implement this into their business to help them grow, scale, and actually get to that point with predictability. But at this point, you have all the information that you need. I hope I did a good job in laying out just good, raw, straight to the point, no fluff, no BS information for you. And for those of you who are set on trying this on your own, by all means, you can now click off the video. But for those of you who want assistance and want to avoid the potholes and the obstacles altogether and want to work together, I actually have a link below this video that you can click on it and you can apply to work with me. We'll get on a call. We'll see if we're a good fit for each other. If you think I did a good job on this video, go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know what was your favorite part and also what I should cover in another video. All right, take care, guys. Bye.